Sometimes teenage children sound like they hate their parents. Do they really hate us when we correct them? Are we wrong in correcting their behavior every time they make a mistake? Will we lose them in the bargain? Is a conflict and makes us scared to deal with them? The second one is, what kind of relationship should we have with teenage children? Something that will help us maintain a line of communication with them so that we know what they are doing behind our backs.
So, first question, by the time a person grows up and understands that his father was right, he already has a son who thinks he is wrong. Okay, understand that. That's the general scheme of life. When one is a teenager, one is thinking, "Arey, my parent is doing wrong things, he's not understanding this, that," and by the time one understands that, the father was or mother was right, he's already having a child who's thinking, "Arey, my father is not doing the right thing." That's always going to happen for some or the other issue. Now the point here is that teenagers will go through a phase. Not everybody, but many of them will go through a phase where hormones are playing, peer pressure is there, the need to conform is there, the generation gap and the thinking is very different. So there will be certain things in which the mindset of parent and the child will be different. What one has to understand is one aspect, is to make the child aware of the consequences of whatever the child is doing. And tell the child that you are responsible for this. At a certain age, the child needs that freedom, no? Otherwise they will rebel. There is no other solution. A freedom at a teenage, they will need. Because in the today's society, though, that freedom has come much more ahead. As long as they are aware of the consequences and they are ready to face the consequences and take responsibility of it. In that, even if it harms them, one has to allow them to go through that because it's their life after all. How much can we be protective and controlling? It cannot happen. We can guide, we can provide certain restrictions and boundaries, but beyond that, it is their life. There it should not become an ego issue that, I am telling you are not listening. Now it is their life. I have done my best as a parent. What I could do, I have done. I have made you aware. If you do this, this will be the consequence. If you take drinking, if you do drugs, if you do whatever, late night, anything, make them aware. You don't study, consequences have to be told. And that person has to be empowered and made responsible. There is no other solution. How much can one force? At certain age one will force. It's just a matter of time. Again, after some time the child is going to rebel. So at every mistake you cannot correct. You have to allow the child to make mistake. Do you know, psychologically speaking, when a person makes a mistake, the person's brain also grows more. Do you know that? Just 2 weeks back I was doing some study for a camp called Mindfulness. Fantastic article on the power of mistakes to make us grow. Because the brain has to think corrective measures. The brain has done something wrong, it has to correct itself again. It has to face the consequences. It has to ensure that it doesn't repeat that behavior. How much it has to go through. Rather than a protective behavior where the person is not allowed to make mistakes at all, the brain will not grow. Why should we be so scared of making mistake? If a child falls, it will fall. You are there not to protect, ultimately. What is that which the child is going to lose? Is the spirit of exploring worth giving up for the sake of the fear of making a mistake? Don't allow the child to go out. What did Buddha's father do? King Shuddhodhan, what did he do? He didn't allow the child to go out at all. The fortress, the palace, inside that only he is kept. Why? Because he should not see the misery of life. If he sees the misery of life, he may become a monk. And if he doesn't see the misery of life, he will become a king. At the first sight of the misery, what happened to Buddha? Siddhartha, he became disillusioned with life. How much can be one protective? One has to have that spirit, let it be. Now. When we were children, I'm not saying you should do that today, but I'm just saying, what was the spirit of exploring our parents had? I was in 2nd standard. My father made me sit in a train in Chennai. From 1st standard to 5th standard, I was in Hyderabad. From Hyderabad, he made me sit in the train and he said, this train will take you to Chennai. Don't get down anywhere in between on a station. Sit here only. This is your breakfast, this is your lunch, this is your dinner. Sit here. Alone. Go in a train. I know parents today who will say that I will not allow my son to go in a local train. But why are you being so protective? Tipu Sultan was trained. How? His father said, don't give him water. Let him run for miles together. Whole day let him train, but let him not have water. Because he needs to learn how to be in that war situation without water, in that fatigue. One has to grow. Na? One will grow only when one is allowed to explore and one is allowed to make mistakes. How much can we control? We can make them aware, and they are intelligent children. Sometimes emotions will take over, control will not be there, they may land up making some mistakes, but they'll grow out of it, they'll go through it. As long as you are there with them, there is no problem. At that time, don't make an ego issue. See, I told you. Now see what happened to you. Now you deal with it. I'm not going to help you out. Don't do that. When they need your support, be there with them. But important aspect is let them do that. So one is that they will go through that phase. There's nothing wrong in correcting them if they have made a mistake. But every mistake, every time, then that will become nagging. Then they will not accept it. They will rebel, they will go away. So that's where we will lose them. Not because we corrected them, but because we stifled the freedom. So that freedom and support, that balance has to be very clearly stuck. Second question here is, what kind of relation should we have with the teenage children? Have a friendly relationship with the teenagers, try to understand their mindset, and have suggestive disciplining, not insistent disciplining. You can suggest that this if you do, it will help you to deal with this stress better, to deal with peer pressure better, to deal with whatever emotions you are going through better. And educate them for sure, because they themselves don't know what they are going through. Nobody educates them, no. Does the school tell how to handle emotions? Does the school tell how to handle hormonal fluctuations? Does the school tell how to handle peer pressure? They won't tell. So educating them is a very, very important aspect. We must empower them. Then only they'll make right choices, no. So one is be friendly. Second is suggest discipline, don't insist. Third is educate and empower. Fourth is please trust them. Don't spy on them. It is their life. This question only is saying, so that we know what they are doing behind our back. Why do you want to know? You must have that faith in your child that, the child is able to come and tell you what is happening. That kind of an upbringing has to happen. Why suspect? Trust has to be there, no? If trust only is not there, that's why the children also will do things, no? Why so many children are on Snapchat nowadays? Because on WhatsApp you can take their phone and see. I don't know if parents even know there's something called Snapchat. WhatsApp is there. In WhatsApp the messages remain, right? So parents spy on them. They'll go quietly take the phone, do something, figure out their password, and then see what the messages this child is sending to whom, and all that stuff they will do. They put some spy camera somewhere in their room. Something parents do. So these children also become more smart. They have taken up Snapchat. In Snapchat, it will not remain beyond a few moments, few seconds, a few minutes. It will get deleted. So even if you take that Snapchat and see what this boy is messaging this girl, or what this girl is messaging this boy, you will not know only. They will become one generation ahead of you. They'll become more smarter. What else will they do? So how much can we keep spying? It's their life now, after all. If that much is left to them, or it's up to them. Our problem is what, what will society say? That is our problem. For the sake of the society, I am willing to not trust my child. Even if society says anything, I cannot tell to the society that yes, my child made a mistake, it's okay. I am there with my child. It's over. No? But that much courage we will not have. How many children's life is ruined only because of this society pressure? What this chacha will say, what his mama will say, what his uncle will say, what that aunt will say. And they will say once in their life, or twice in their life, or 5 times in their life. But the whole life of the child is gone. Recently only, one convocation happened of our YEP last batch, YEP 10. One girl is getting married in Kerala. Now her engagement happened on 13th August. And this convocation is on 26th August. Her marriage is sometime in September. So we said they were supposed to come a week in advance to do their evaluations and all. So that they said, week in advance and all we can't do. So I said, okay, come on that day, do the convocation ceremony, take the certificate and then go. They said no. Why? One uncle in Pune thinks that it is not good for this girl to go out after marriage, after engagement. Where is she going? She is coming to an ashram, taking a certificate and going back in flight. But no, that uncle stays in Pune only. And that uncle is going to go for that function, but this uncle will not bring that girl from there to here. And so the entire family said, no, she can't come. Why? Because of that uncle. Because the mindset is like that. And this girl has done 1 full year of service and she wants to come get the certificate in the hands of the Swamiji there. And that will happen to her only once in her lifetime. But this one uncle who is not even an immediate uncle, he is some far away uncle. No, but that uncle will spread bad news about this girl. Arey, what bad news? A parent doesn't have the courage to stand up for this girl, saying nothing doing, she has served the society 1 year, go there, take the certificate and come back. And that uncle, we can tell, you go with her. If you have a problem, go. No. But our problem is that. So the children also get very frustrated because of somebody else's thing, my freedom is going. So we need that clarity, we need that strength, we need that support for the child. And very important it is to have patience and faith. Children are going through a phase of evolution. No? They will grow. If we have confidence in our upbringing and we are there to support, have patience, one phase will pass where they may appear to be not very settled in life. But they'll go through that if our clarity and support is there with them, and have faith with them, have patience, it will happen.